afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about if I knew then what I know now. I was inspired to talk about this particular topic because I have a 16-year-old son who just started his junior year in high school. And it dawned on me that I have just 2 short years to make sure that he has all of the information that he's going to need as he prepares for his journey through life. 2 short years. To put that into perspective, that is 1,052,640 minutes. That is 17,544 hours. I have 104 weeks. I have approximately 731 days. 731 days. Sounds like a lot, but really, it isn't. As I contemplate my 731 days that I have to prepare my son for his journey through life, I think back to some of the things that I wish I had known when I was a teenager getting ready to embark upon my journey. For instance, some of the things that I know now that I didn't know then, Mom was right about so many things. She tried to warn me that eating too much candy was bad for my teeth. She was right. I have a mouthful of feelings to show for that now. She tried to warn me that that boyfriend that I was so dead set on having, Randy, was too old for me. She was right. At 15, I was still a child, and at 18, he was a young man, and he was too old for me. Some of the other things that I wish that I had done, that I had learned or done differently when I was younger, I would have done better in school. It turns out Mom, again, was right. The people who did well in school had an easier time when they graduated. They had an easier time finding a good job. When they found that good job, they had an easier time working their way up through the ranks. So it turns out Mom was pretty smart. Another thing that I would have done differently is I would have educated myself earlier on finances. If I had known in my 20s that if I had continued to invest in my 401k early in my 20s, if I had maxed out that investment in my 401k in my 20s, I could have invested from the age of 20 to 30 and stopped and still have more money by the time I retire than I'm going to have having started much later in my mid-30s and continue to invest on up until my retirement age. I'll never be able to make up that lost time. So I would have educated myself about finances. So these are some of the lessons that I intend to teach my son in the 731 days that I have left with him before he graduates from high school and leaves our nest. Some of the things that I want to make sure that he knows are survival skills. He's going to need to know how to cook, how to clean, how to go to Walmart and get groceries. He's going to need to have people skills. Some of the people skills that I need to make sure that he has, he needs to make sure that he looks people in the eye when he speaks to them. He needs to make sure that he has a firm handshake when he meets someone. He needs to make sure that he has good posture and he's not intimidated and that he exudes confidence when he's out in the world speaking before people. Something else that I need to make sure that my son is well versed in is relationships. He needs to make sure that he is open and honest in his relationships and his communications. He needs to make sure that he establishes relationships where there's trust. He needs to be trustworthy and he needs to be sincere. So these are just some of the things that I need to make sure that my son is versed on before he leaves the nest. More importantly, apart from all of those things, now that my son is working, I'm having to make sure that he is well versed in money skills. Since I didn't learn the lessons early about the 401k and the dollar cost averaging and all of that, I'm making it my business to make sure that as he has got his first job at Six Flags this summer, that he knows to take 25% of every paycheck and pay himself first. He's not real happy with that most of the time. When he goes to Wachovia and cashes his little check, whether it's $100, and he has to come and put $25 in my hand, and he doesn't understand that that money, that he's paying himself first. All he sees is that $25 is gone. That's $25 less that he has to spend at the mall. But the deal that I made with him, and the reason he's able to take it a little easier, is that I take that money and every penny that he has saved from the beginning of the summer until his job at Six Flags ends in November. My husband and I will match that money dollar for dollar, and we are going to open him a Roth IRA. So by teaching my son the lesson about dollar cost averaging and paying yourself first and investing early and often, then my son would be able to retire much earlier. He'll have control over being able to have better finances, better control over his finances, and he will most likely retire a millionaire, maybe a multimillionaire, who knows, with the power of dollar cost averaging. So the gift that I'm giving to my son is being able to, the gift that I'm giving to my son is sharing with him some of the lessons that I didn't learn and giving him the benefit of knowing what I didn't know then and passing on to him what I know now. Mr. Postman.